Sorry, I'm gonna start again now. I tried to look at the comments and the screen started acting a little bit funny. Okay, so I was talking about this analogy of the mountainside, right? You're not supposed to do a business that's very different than what you've already been doing, right? And so think about the mountain. You've already been on this journey for a long time. Your clients are already on the same journey. This way you speak the same language. This is the best way to do it. Now, here's how you can make this even deeper, right? So you're on the mountain and you realize I'm at a certain place on the mountain. I'm not at the top. Hello, Angela. I'm not at the top yet, but it doesn't matter because I can help people who are below me. That's sort of the main insight that you need. And if you just use that, you can realize that you can be very beneficial. It's about caring, right? Again, when I was at the temple, I used to drive an hour and 20 minutes, both ways, to a meditation class that I taught once a week, okay? And sometimes it was snowy out, and it was just like really bad conditions, but I would do it anyway. For 3 years, I never missed a single class, all right? I went once a week, and so what I'm saying is, I cared about the people who were there. They were not going to come to the temple, even though I wanted them to. They didn't care enough about it to come all the way to the temple where I lived. And so they wanted something in their own town. And so I went to them and I helped them. And I was qualified to do this, even though I wasn't perfect, right? And the same for you, right? Like the people who need your help, they may not actually seek the same sources of refuge that you have, right? They may not join the same programs that you're in. They may not go as deep as you've gone, but they want something, right? And so you have enough to go and help them, like the satellite classes that the temple had. They sent not the main teacher, but the kind of the student teachers to go and help them. And so maybe you're not the main teacher in your own world. Maybe you're still a student, and that's good, right? We all should be students of other people. However, we have enough ourselves to go help other people, just like the person on the mountain. Okay, so here's how this can go to the next level. Hey, Susan, how are you? And you, Susan, you went to the classes in Naples that I taught, which is amazing. It's the same thing, right? Like, even though I was the main teacher of that center, I would still go and help. Yeah, so. Good. Glad. Good connecting with you. It'd be great to. I think you wanted to set up a call sometime. We should totally do that, and just have a quick chat and see what's up. Okay, Susan, tell everyone the nickname you had for me when I was teaching in Naples. I think they'd find that amusing. Okay, so here's how you can go deeper with this. You're on the mountain. And you want to help a certain group of people who are less far than you. They're people that you really care about. The hunky monk, not honky, hunky, right? Like, anyway, that's so funny. Thank you, Susan, that's hilarious. I didn't find out about that until later. Okay, so what we want to do is think, what is the moment? What is the psycho-spiritual moment that your clients are in, right? So you're at a certain place on the mountain, they're not quite as far as you, but they're in some sort of psycho-spiritual moment. There's a moment of development that they have accessed, right? You want to find people when they're right in a certain moment, okay? And it could be they're transitioning from something to something else. When Michelle and I first started this business together, we realized that our clients were in a moment of there's like a certain way of developing spiritually where many times spiritual practitioners will go deep spiritually and they kind of go into their feminine or being state and they become very comfortable in the feminine being state and they haven't integrated the action yet. They haven't learned to embody the divine masculine in action. And so they're hesitant to take action because action feels less pure than just pure being, right? And it's true, for them it isn't as pure because they haven't practiced it enough yet and they haven't integrated the beingness into the doingness. And so we decided that was our moment. We were gonna help people who were in that moment, who were very feminine. They were a little bit hesitant of masculine energy. They were a little bit hesitant to take action, and they hadn't integrated both yet, but they had unlocked one of them. So like we realized that was the moment that they were in, and at the same time they wanted to grow a business based on their gifts. And so that was where we focused, of helping people to integrate into the masculine, to take action, and also to build a business based on their gifts. And so that's a very clear moment, isn't it? And Michelle, my business partner, is quite good at finding these moments. She has an eye for these moments, and so that's probably where a lot of this clarity came from. I don't know that I would have been able to describe it as well as that without her, but you know, that's what she does for our clients too. She helps them to see these things, okay? But anyway, does that make sense? That's an example of a moment, right? When I was a digital marketing kind of agency, and I would help local businesses to get clients, I would look for people who are in a moment of like very high talent, very good at what they did, very good on camera, like they had the potential to be good on camera and express themselves well, but yet they needed more customers to come into their business, and they didn't necessarily have time to like learn how to do that themselves, or to implement the systems well for themselves. Hey Carol, thanks for returning to this new one. I'm sitting down with my tripod now. I won't touch the screen this time. And so that was the moment I looked for them. I looked for them to be good at what they did, good on camera, good at communicating, but they didn't know how to get more clients. They needed more clients, and they didn't have a lot of tech or social media background. And so they would hire me to set up the systems of marketing to bring in more clients to their business, okay? And they had to be doing well enough that they could afford to pay for marketing help, right? So I looked for that moment, and then I found them. And usually I would find them while they were, well actually I had a warm network. I found a lot of people just through knowing people, but also another way of finding people for me at the time was like looking for those who were already advertising. And I would contact them and say, hey look, I know you're already advertising, I have a better way. It's called Facebook ads, I'm gonna help you. Okay, so anyway, for you, you have to know what moment are they in? And you know, where are you gonna find them as well? So anyway, we help to figure all that stuff out in my program, but just in general for right now, and for those of you who are interested, if you want to learn more about my program, I'll put the link. You can go to connectingamazingpeople.com. It's in my bio. You can just click on that and set up a phone call. There's a 30-minute masterclass on that page that teaches you what we do and what works for us or what works for our clients, and then you can set up a call, and we'll chat to see if we can help you on that call, right? Basically. Okay, so anyway, but I want this video to be useful just by itself, and so we've already talked about a lot of good things. The mountain and the moment so far, right? The mountain is the ascension journey that you're on, improving relationships, healing, right? Becoming a healer, right? Growing your business or getting in shape. Whatever that journey that you've already been on for a while is, that's the same journey that people are already on. There's a premise in entrepreneurship. We say you never want to sell or market to people who aren't already kind of like looking for or buying the thing that you have, right? It's the way to kind of go broke. People who really need what you have are not a good market to go for unless they actually want it. They need to already have the desire for what you do. Does that make sense? The starting point is desire. It's not your job to create desire. That's not your job. As a business owner, doing marketing, we never create desire. They already have desire. People already have desire for what you do. They already do, and you don't want to talk to people who don't. People who don't have that desire are not your market. I promise you. It doesn't matter how badly they need you, they're not your market. Just like, I'll give you an example. When I was a substance abuse counselor back in 2011, I thought I knew everything and I chased people around trying to help them, okay? And then when I got into Buddhism, when I was young into Buddhism, I thought I had all the answers, and I went around chasing people. I was so excited to share about Buddhism, and I would scare everybody away telling them all these great things because they didn't care and they didn't ask. It wasn't interesting for them, right? So like, and a person, especially when I was a counselor, I did it in an unhealthy way. Like I actually tried to help them too much. I couldn't get out of that role of like the therapist. And my brother was like, John, like, you don't have to turn everything into like a lesson. Like, I was just telling you the story. You don't have to tell me like the deeper meaning behind it or like why it's a lesson for me or whatever. And I was like, oh yeah, you're right. I couldn't get out of that mode. But like people who do this get exhausted. You know that, right? If you're a healer or helper, you cannot help the people who just need you. They have to want it too. They have to want it, right? Even if they don't say they want it, if you can tell that they want it, okay, go and help them, fine. But they have to want it, or else you're wasting your energy. You're throwing pearls to swine, as they say. You're pouring your energy out and you won't get it back in this case, right? So we know that in terms of like helping others, we know that this is true. They have to want it. The same with marketing. They have to want it. They have to already be on that mountainside. They have to not just want to climb up the mountain. Ideally, they're already on their way up the mountain, right? They're already self-motivated to get up that mountain. That's when you find them, and that's when it's easy to help them, right? You just throw down that rope, or you just climb down with the rope and you help them, okay? So hope this makes sense so far. Yeah, so the mountain, they're already on this journey just like you are. You're further along. You're going to help them because you care. You know, do this exercise. Like, think about it. You're on the mountainside of this pathway that you've been on, this ascension journey. You reach back, like, look back and see all the people who are not as far as you. Hey, Yarnia. Look back and see all the people who are not as far as you. Of all of them, who do you care about the most? Of all the people who are not as far as you on the same journey, they're already on the same path as you. They're trying to get to the same end result, which is the peak of the mountain. Perfect health, perfect harmony, becoming a really great healer, being healed, having an amazing relationship, growing their business, whatever is that peak, you're both going for it, you know? Of all those people who are not as far as you, who do you care about? Who does your heart kind of open for? Who does your heart kind of break for if they're hurting or in pain? Who do you feel joy for the most when you know that they're having wins? Okay. These are your people. This is who you're supposed to work with, is that person. Okay, that's your person. Hey, Tim. That's the person that you're supposed to work with. The people that you care a lot about. You have like a soul bond with them. You would get up every day to help them. That's what we want. That's the important thing. You look at what I'm doing. This is a Saturday. Not all clients think they must change. Most believe they should. Do STH. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, the should. There's a lot there, right? But we want people, I like working with people who are like positively motivated, who don't like beat themselves up. I want people who are mentally like clean and who don't have crazy emotions disturbing them and hurting the people around them. That's who I look for. But some people are gonna help people who are more disturbed and who are shitting themselves and who are whatever, like that's okay too if that's your market. I try to only work with people who are like mentally pristine, right? Because I work with people who are helping other people. And so I want them to be in a good state themselves. But that's just me, because I know who I can help the most right now is people who are really, really good at what they do. Okay, so your audience are people who you really care about, your heart opens for, like me today, right? I don't have to do this video. This is my day. This is one of my days off, but I'm here to help people because I care, you know? And so you need to have the same energy. If you really care about your people, you'll show up when you don't have to. And that's what makes the difference, right? That's what gives you edges over any competition, right? It's what makes people realize that you care. It's what makes their heart open. They will start to receive a lot of help from you when they really see that your heart's in it and that you care, okay? So you must truly and authentically care about your audience. Don't do the business that you should do. Do the business that your heart wants you to do. That's what we need to do, okay? A lot of us try to do the business that we should do, so that we can afford to do the business that we want to do. That doesn't work, right? That never works. What works is to take the business that you actually want to do and do that one now, because it'll work better anyway, because you have real energy for it, and that energy is extremely contagious, and people are going to catch wind of it, and they're going to want to work with you, even if you don't have all the technical pieces in place, right? Trust me, this is not a mechanical process. This is a heart-to-heart experience. Business is a heart-to-heart experience. Transformation. If you're in the transformational business, hey Natalie, if you're in the transformational business, it is a heart-to-heart connection. It is a transformation that flows. This is where this analogy comes from. Imagine like the guru on the mountain, like energy flows downhill, benefit flows downhill, love, blessings, they flow downhill. They flow from those who have more to those who have less, right? Transformation flows downhill. So your heart opens and their heart opens and the benefit just pours out of you, right? That's how transformation occurs. It's not mechanical, it's heart-centered, okay? And you can't fake it. So you may as well just work with people that you really genuinely care about and that you're further along. That's important, that you're further along than them. Right, there's different types of business. I'm not saying this is the only way to do it, but this is the best way to do it that I've found. You're actually further along than your clients in the result that you're both trying to get to. That's the way to do it. That's the easiest, best way to do it. There's a lot of reasons for that, okay? Some people call this an expert business, right? It's not just being the blank slate coach or therapist who tries to help people get a result that they don't have yet. That's not true mentorship, is it? That's not actually true mentorship. True mentorship is like you're further along than them at something, and then you share that benefit with them. That's a true mentorship relationship. And this transcends business, this transcends the coaching industry that's kind of blown up lately. This transcends internet, this transcends anything, culture, religion. There's always going to be mentorship, right? Take away business, religion, politics, online, coaching, anything that you want. Take it all away. And one thing that makes the world go around is mentorship. And another thing is community, right? We need mentorship and we need community, no matter what. There's always been this in all cultures and all religions and all transformational journeys. There is mentorship and there is community. And you absolutely must have both, right? If you want to grow. And so people realize this in their heart, and then they look for someone who is further along than them at what they want to do. And that's going to be you in some cases. In some cases, that's you. You are further along than certain people in the thing that they want to do. And we need to start owning that. We need to start realizing, even though I'm not at the top of the mountain, I'm still further along than somebody. And it's not bad that you're not further along in the mountain. In fact, somebody who's not quite as far as you, I'll give you an example. The coaches who helped me in the most profound way were not that far above me, right? And then since then, I've hired coaches that were a lot further along than me, and I didn't receive much help from them at all. Why? There's a bigger translation gap, isn't there? There's a lot more of a translation gap, communication gap. Whereas people who are not that much further than me, but they're doing the exact same thing that I'm doing right now, they've helped me in ridiculous ways, right? And they're still coaches, they're still helping people, they're not big name people, they're a couple. They helped me make my first 5-figure month, right? And find the right niche for myself. They gave me permission to do the business I wanted to do and not just the one I thought I should do. And that's a tiny shift, has a huge result. So like having a real mentor is priceless. It's absolutely priceless. I never would have learned without their help. And this goes for my spiritual teachers too. Like I've had many mentors in my life. Martial artists, right? I had a sensei who I looked up to. I had a construction boss who kind of taught me like how to be in the world like as a man, right? I learned some of that from him. And then my spiritual teacher, my meditation teacher, I had a few teachers, but one of them was like really like my father. He's like my spiritual father. And he transformed me in ways that are beyond anything that I could even express. I was 100% different before. I mean, I was similar in that like I wanted to help people and I wanted to improve myself, but that's almost the only thing that is the same about me as it was before. I've been utterly transformed through living with my spiritual mentor and attending, many classes a week. At one time I was attending or teaching 10 classes a week total. Right, that's a lot on average for quite some time. And that doesn't even count the retreats. During retreat, it was more like 20, 30 classes a week. So, and I lived with this person. So like mentors, transformative mentors are not even a question in my life. It's like we need them. There's nothing that we can gain without them. We literally cannot gain a single ounce of anything without them. It's true. We cannot go further than we've already gone without a mentor. So that's you. That's the thing, is that's you. You're the mentors. Right? You're the mentors for other people. You are on the mountain of this journey and you are further than some people. We have to stop wondering if we're perfect. We have to stop caring about being perfect. It's not about being perfect. It's about helping others who need our help, who are trying to get to where we want to go. And you're on the mountain and you look down and you're like, God, I care about them. And they're on this snowy covered mountain as well. Like, what am I gonna do? Like, feel insecure because I'm not perfect and then just sit in a little ball up here? Or do I just keep going and ignore them? Or do I actually like go back and help them, right? Do I figure out how can I help them get to where I'm at? That's your business, is you find the moment that they're in where they need your help and they want your help, and then you go and you engineer a journey for them to get to where you want to go. And so that's the next thing I want to talk about is, so you got the mountain, you got the moment that they're in, the psycho-spiritual moment that they're in, you got where you're at in the mountain, and there's some sort of path to get there. What is that path? You can call it the A to Z, right? Hey, Svetlana. A is where they're at. Z is where you can help them to go, is where you want it, is where you're at, okay? You can help them to go from A to Z. And your whole business is speaking to the person at A and getting them excited for the Z and telling them, promising them. It's a promise. Business is just a promise. I promise that I can help you get here. I promise that I will help you get here. And it is this much. This is the investment, and I promise that I will help you get here. That's what your business is. And if you do a good job at keeping your promise, people will find out that you're good at what you do, and they're going to want to work with you. That's how simple business is. It's making and keeping promises. That's is not more complicated than that. I promise you, business is only making, keeping promises, and also obviously communication along that way is communication, right? Of like, here's where you are, here's where you want to go, I can help you. That communication is part of your business, okay? So I talk about this in a different course, but here's a really interesting tidbit that may help you. If you have a hard time enrolling people into your programs, it could be because you're not energetically practiced enough at making, keeping promises. Hey, this is very valuable for me. Thank you. You're welcome, Yarnia. Yarina. You're welcome. My pleasure. This is refined over many years of helping people with this. Okay. So if we're having a hard time enrolling clients, it may be because we're not practiced enough energetically at making, keeping promises. Hey, Jennifer. I was just on Jennifer's live and I was like, hey, Jennifer, I'll take a reading. She was doing readings and she just completely ignored me. So I don't know if she didn't feel that she could help me, but I don't know. You're here now. Thank you for being here, Jennifer. So we need to practice making, keeping promises. Why? Because there's an energy. There's an energy about it. When you make and keep promises, your energy field informs the people around you that this is, oh, you didn't see it? Okay, I don't know what happened, but no problem. Happy you're here. This is a good video, I believe. So your energy field, your aura sort of contains the energy of what you've been up to, right? We'll make some time for it, no problem. By the way, anyway, this is an important point. your energy field doesn't lie, right? Whatever we've been up to, if we spend all day helping people, we spend a month or two meditating deeply, helping others, and just being as pure as we can, your energy field doesn't lie. It'll tell people around you that that's what you've been doing. And if you say things and don't follow through and don't keep your word, your energy field will tell people what you're doing, right? So in this case, there's a thing about commitments and promises. Commitment is one of the most important parts of business, because I know for myself, I was like this, and a lot of you watching, if you're at the beginning of your business, I'm sure you'll resonate with this. Sometimes we avoid making the promises that we know we need to make because we actually don't feel, we don't trust ourselves to make a commitment and follow through. Okay, sometimes that's it. We don't feel that we can commit for, like, I know one of my clients was like, she had only been coaching 4 months when she hired me, and I had encouraged her to create like a 6-month program, because that was like my shortest program at the time. And she's like, I don't know if I can do that. And I realized, like, oh yeah, she hasn't committed. She hasn't like seen herself doing this thing for 6 months. And so how can she promise her clients that she's going to do it for 6 more months? She doesn't have practice of making a 6-month commitment yet. And so how can she enroll a client to make a 6-month commitment? Does that make sense? That's part of my struggle for sure. I want to tell you guys, there's a lot of energy. I'm going to coin this term, energy math. There is energy math that is involved in your business. It is not just mechanics. It is energy math, right? The energy math of making commitments. Can you make a 6-month commitment and keep it? If you learn that you can through your own experience, you will trust yourself. And then if you decide to promise a client to be with them for 6 months of their journey, they will feel that energy and they will trust you and they will say yes, okay, if they want to do it. Does that make sense? It's about trusting yourself. We need to learn to trust ourselves and to make and keep commitments. And one way of doing that is to actually do it, to make small commitments and keep it. Right? So like I've been doing what I'm doing, this exact same thing now, this exact same business for about 2 years, right? It's not super long, but I've been doing it in different forms for much longer than that. But like I'm about to offer a 2-year program, right? I can energetically commit to being with someone for 2 years because I've stuck with this exact same business for 2 years. And yes, we've improved our program and our offers have changed during that time and our prices have changed, but it's the same business, right? So because I've already been doing this for 2 years, I can energetically enroll someone in a 2-year program because they will feel, oh look, John has that level of commitment to himself. I believe that he'll be able to follow through on me, right? And then if they can make that big of a commitment, they'll sign up, okay? So that's what it is. So you find a length of time that you can commit to. So maybe you know that you can do 3 months, right? Oh, I know I can commit for 3 months and follow through. Great, then you should have a 3-month program. And if you really feel that energetically, you will be able to promise a client. Promising and commitments are almost the same, right? So you would promise them, hey, I'll be with you for 3 months and I'll hold your hand. I'm gonna help you the best I can during this 3 months. And the cost is whatever, right? And they will feel that and they'll be like, oh, she trusts herself or he trusts himself. You know, I believe that they will be there for me, you know, and then they will step up if they want to, okay? So energetically, we need to practice making and keeping small commitments to ourselves. We have to practice this. I promise you, this is sabotaging. If you're stuck at the beginning, like you're still having trouble doing, especially if you're like at the very beginning of like having trouble doing 4-figure months, if you're still working on having consistent 4-figure months, like I would guess, if you're anything like how I used to be, this is one of the keys. It's not a lack of skill. It's not a lack of competency. It's probably not even a lack of, it is a lack of confidence, but not confidence that you can deliver results. Confidence that you'll show up consistently, right? Confidence that you will make a commitment and follow through. We need confidence in our own ability to make and keep commitments, right? I want to just do like a mic drop right now because for some of you, that's the missing piece. And if you actually apply this, you can have a change, right? And so sometimes the reason that we're not doing that is because we're actually not in the business we want to be. This is what it was for me a long time ago. It was like, I was a digital marketing agency. I didn't love kind of going into the Facebook platform and like doing ads and building funnels for them and video editing. It was a lot of work, and I just didn't love it. And I was getting paid, but not that much, right? So I didn't even want to take on new clients because I didn't enjoy it. Does that make sense? So for some of you, it's because you're trying to do the wrong business, and that's why you're having trouble making commitments to your prospective clients. But for some of you, it's not that. It's just you haven't figured out how to make and keep commitments to yourself, period. Right? Sounds about right. Yeah, hopefully. Yeah, I know, right? It's important. Now, I want to tell you like a little thing. Hopefully this shatters the mind a little bit. I used to, study psychology. I was training to be a therapist for a long time. I dedicated my life to becoming a therapist at one point, right? And so I learned different modalities, and one thing I learned was about something called personality disorders, which are very difficult to treat. It's like substance abuse and personality disorders are very, very difficult to treat. But there was a certain modality that worked, except for one type of personality disorder called antisocial personality disorder, I believe it was called. Now, antisocial doesn't mean asocial. Asocial means I don't like social interactions. That's not what antisocial means. Antisocial, that's asocial. Antisocial, in terms of personality disorder, actually means someone who cannot keep agreements. They cannot keep agreements. They consistently break agreements, and the therapy was called dialectical behavior therapy, and it worked for personality disorders, even though they were very hard to treat, because they would get someone to make a contract in the beginning, make an agreement, and then the therapy would be very uncomfortable for them, but as long as they kept the agreement, it would work. Generally, it would work, okay? But it wouldn't work for antisocial personality disorder because they could not keep an agreement. And so their management, this guy who taught me this said the management system for them was going to jail. They would end up in jail because society is formed by agreements between people about what's proper, what's improper, what is the proper etiquette here, what is okay, what's social, what is civil, right? Society is formed by agreements. And sometimes we have this little bug in us that just wants to rebel against keeping agreements. This is sabotaging all of your success. If you do not like keeping agreements, you are the antisocial personality disorder that ends up in jail somewhere, and you can't make progress because progress only comes through making agreements to yourself and to the people who are trying to help you, right? Buddhism is completely founded upon the principle of making vows and keeping vows or commitments. You decide these are the things, these are the prescribed behaviors. These are the things that I can do. These are the things that I won't do. I will not kill people or things. I will not lie or steal or cheat. I will not, take intoxicants. Like there are certain agreements that somebody makes, and that builds their foundation, that keeps them on the path. And then there's more advanced agreements like always helping others and never hurting them. And there's lots of things, right? But essentially agreements is how you move forward. You make agreements. Society is literally made of agreements, and things like, I'm just gonna call it out, things like smoking pot just erode our ability to make and keep agreements. We start to dishonor everything. We start to dishonor holy contractual agreements. Agreements can be holy experiences. They're literally the only way to make progress, is making agreements to yourself and keeping them, and making agreements to others and keeping them. And what you want to do is find somebody who you love and value and treasure and respect and admire, and you want them to give you things to do, and you need to agree to those things, and then you need to do them, and then you'll make progress, right? That's what mentorship is. That's what you will be doing with your clients, is you'll be helping them to make agreements, mini micro agreements to themselves, okay? Always talking about pot. I know, but that's because, Jennifer, I'm tuned in, and I'm just here to help. I can see things that most people don't believe that I can see, right? The ability to keep an agreement erodes our ability to make progress. It is erosive. And generally, I used to smoke pot every day, multiple times a day, until 2008, okay? And my life didn't start getting good till I stopped. I understand what it's like. I know it from my own experience, and I smoked it a couple times since then. I understand it makes us dishonor agreements. I'm telling you, there's a similarity between the mindset of smoking pot and the mindset of the antisocial person that ends up in prison. Everything crumbles, you lose everything, and you go to the lowest common denominator, right? 'Cause I'm sorry, but it's just what happens, right? Obviously, like, some people smoke it and they're not going to go to jail, but what I'm saying is it does harm our ability to make holy agreements. It harms it, right? And anything, for you, like, it could, like, some of you on here don't smoke pot, right? That's good, right? And so the thing is, like, where are you failing to keep agreements to yourself? What are those things that kind of get like the little bug in your mind that make you back out on agreements, right? Because those are the things that erode your ability to enroll clients into your programs. If you don't believe that you can follow through for somebody, it is very hard for them to believe that you can follow through for somebody. Does that make sense? You need to believe in every moment of your being, every cell of your body, that you can help somebody and that you will be there for them, right? And if you know that you flake out, right, your energy field won't lie. Your energy field will tell them that, and they're going to be like, I don't know, right? So that's where we get stuck doing the single sessions, single session here, single session there. And by the way, people who join my program who are very comfortable doing single low price sessions have a lot of success in my program, because I can move them very quickly up to the bundles and then to the high ticket, right? So that's something I found through analyzing my student results. If someone's very comfortable, they know they're good at the low price sessions, they have a lot of success in my program, because I can very quickly move them up. But just to say, like, if you're not in my program and you don't have my help, right, you should. And so click the link in my bio to schedule a call with me, because I can help you. That means if you want to grow, right, if you want to move up that mountain of your business growth, I can help you. But just in general, if we can't commit for 3 months to something, how can someone commit to us? How can someone believe us about joining a 3-month program, for example, or a 1-year program, or a 2-year program, or a 6-month program, or whatever? So anyway, making and keeping commitments is the game of life. This is the game of transformation, is making, keeping commitments, promises to ourselves and others, right? And this is what business is. Literally business, think about it. Business is simply making, keeping promises. That's it. If people believe you, they will join. They will buy, right? They buy before they see much, right? They don't get the transformation until after they buy. It's that they have to believe you that your promise is true. And if you believe yourself, they will have a high likelihood, they can learn to believe you. That's what sales is. You're helping someone to believe something that is true. That's all sales is anyway, right? You know that you can help them, you believe it, and you promise, and then you help them to see that that is true and that you really can, and then when they do, they'll say yes and they'll join. That's easy. That's what sales is. Hey, Arya. Okay, so anyway, we're talking about the mountain, the moment, the method, the movement. Okay, so you have gotten to a certain place along your journey of ascension. That's the mountain that you're on. Your clients are trying to climb the same mountain. They're not dilly-dallying at the bottom, wondering if they want to climb the mountain. They're already on their journey, and they're not that much less far than you. They're almost to where you're at, right? So you're gonna realize that you care about them more than you care about being perfect, and you know you're not perfect, and you realize that you can help them even though you're not at the top, and you reach back and you help the people to get to where you're at. And that's what your business is. That's what your program is. From here to here, from A to Z. And then along that path of A to Z, what are those steps? I call that your process, right? It's the your process and your method, right? So the process, what is your process? What is the step-by-step process to get them from A to Z along the same journey that you're already on? Does this make sense? This shouldn't be that hard. It's like you're putting that stake in the ground and you tie yourself with a rope and you jump back on the mountain to help the people who are not as far as you. And you help them get to where they're at. That's what this is. What are the steps? Imagine that you were to write a book with your, to your ideal clients, helping them go from where they're at to where they want to be. Imagine you were to write that book and give it to them. And you want that book alone to help them. What is the table of contents? What is that table of contents? You need to maybe pause this video and just go figure this out right now. Get out a notebook. You will never be able to overestimate the amount of time that I've spent doing this, right? You get out a notebook and you write down the steps. What are the steps? Step 1 is this, step 2 is this, the outline, the step-by-step process. And the step 1 has these 5 parts, and step 2 has 3 parts, and step 4 has 7 parts. And whatever it is, right? It doesn't matter. What are those main steps? And then what are the sub-steps? For right now, just worry about the main steps. What are the main steps? Maybe it's 4 steps, maybe it's 7, maybe it's 10, maybe it's probably more than 2, right? It's probably at least 3, right? 3 steps, 10 steps, 12 steps, 11, 4, 14, doesn't matter. Figure it out. Figure out how many steps there are. Again, like, you're not perfect. You're not at the top of the mountain. That's okay. You have enough to help people to make progress, to get to where you're at, essentially, right? If you're a very good teacher, you can help people to get to where you're at, right? If you're not a very good teacher, you'll help them get somewhere and not maybe all the way to where you are, but you can learn how to be a very good teacher and help them get to all the way up. I have clients who are doing, similar in business. They've had similar good results as I have, but I help them to do it in a lot less time than it took me, right? That's what a good teacher is. Someone joined my program and made $23,000 within the first 6 weeks, right? She had never made a sale over $1,000 before when she joined. And from week 3 of my program, from the 3rd week to the 6th week, she made $23,000. That was very fast, right? Someone else just rejoined. She had been in the previous version last year. It wasn't as good of a program back then, but it was a lot less expensive. And she rejoined my full program now. In the first month, she made over $20,000 in the very first month, right? And that's because I had already taught her a lot of the things and she just needed the energetic boost of joining, pretty much, right? Someone else, I was coaching in someone else's program. She was coaching my clients in sales. I was coaching her clients in marketing. I was like the guest coach. I worked with her. I taught her my special method. And within a 3-week time, she made $28,000 in a 3-week time period, okay? So I can help people to get to similar places that I'm at a lot faster than it took me, okay? That's what you can do if you think about your process well enough and you really dissect it and like, what are the steps? You can figure out how to do the same thing. You probably won't be able to take people beyond where you're at, right? So far, I haven't. Although one of my clients made a $50,000 sale, right? I've never done that, but and so it's possible for people to surpass you for sure. But generally, you get them to where you're at, right? And you can do it really fast if you have a good method. So please spend more time thinking about what is my process. Like literally, I would take my notebook to coffee shops and all places around Mexico while other people are out partying and drinking and just trying to have fun. I'm with my notebook writing down my step-by-step process and all the sub-steps and all the different ways of organizing it and the ways of framing it and the mindset issues. And I've been doing that for months now. And my program is very, very good right now. It's very, very, very effective right now, okay? So, but that's because I put in the effort instead of trying to just enjoy my life. I enjoy helping people. And when people have faith in me and they join my programs, it's my job to change their life. And I do it. I do it quite well. I've been a transformational mentor for a long time, actually. Okay, so what I'm saying is this is where you're at. You guys need to do this. Please, if you want, pause the video right now. Just go out, unplug from the internet for 4 hours, take a notebook and write down the step-by-step process, because this is your process. This is from A to Z. You need to know the steps and you need to know the order. You need to know the subpoints. You need to know all the things, okay? And then when it comes to marketing, there's a couple extra things that we can do. This is like your core program. Your program is gonna work if you do this well. The next couple pieces are more of the marketing talk, okay? So if you want, we can put our marketing hat on and we can be like, all right, now we need to frame this in a way that makes people want it, right? We have to talk about what we do in a way that is alive, in a way that people get it, in a way that people see that it could work for them, right? That's part of marketing, is the way of speaking about a thing that is already really good, right? Something that's really good doesn't mean it's a good business, right? There's a lot of great things that don't ever reach success in business. There needs to be the framing of it and communication of the value, right? This goes for relationships too. There's many people who are wonderful partners, but because they don't learn how to communicate their value and hold their own self-worth, people treat them like trash and they end up getting treated like trash and they break up, right? But if we had just learned how to communicate our value a little bit better, it would call people to see what's already there. It's the same with your business, with your offering, with your program. It's already really good. If you do this process I just mentioned, it will be extremely good, right? And please take time to do this. There's no way to get around this. If you are a person of integrity, and I generally repel people who are not people of integrity, I repel them hardcore. So you're not watching this. If you are that, I'm sure of it. Since we all have integrity, you won't be able to move your program if it doesn't work really well. You will not be able to, just like that commitment, right? There are sleazy salespeople who can sell things without any commitment, right? But if you have integrity, you won't be able to. You need to be able to make that commitment, and then your integrity will let you know that it's true. And then you can communicate the value. So with your program, you can't get around it. You must create an epic world-class program. You have to. There's nothing else to do. This is the step, right? The A, the Z, the path in between. You must know that 100%. That is not something that I can help you with that much. Like, other than what I already said, now it's on you to do that part. You must take enormous amount of time and energy to figure that out. You have to unplug from the entire world, and you must create an epic transformational experience. And that's coming from your heart, from your experience. You're the one that can do that, okay? And then once it's really good, we put on our marketing hat and we do these next two pieces, okay? So one is the movement. What is your movement? What is the larger than life result that's at the top of that mountain? When you do business, you want to kind of bring people along for a whole movement. It's not just simply a product anymore. It's a movement, right? So my business partner, Michelle, one of her movements is fairy tale prosperity. This is the end result. The end result is a future-based cause. What is the future-based cause that you want, that your clients want, that you're all moving towards? This is the top of the mountain. What is that future-based cause? Fairy tale prosperity. For me, like, a new one I'm working on, like liberated light workers. I want the world of liberated light workers where they're location free, they're time free, they're financially free, they're internally free, they're mentally free, they're spiritually free, they're emotionally free. I want them to be completely free and sovereign beings in all these ways, right? And entrepreneurship just happens to be a good way to do that. I never would have gotten into entrepreneurship if it weren't for certain mentors that led me there. I was not wired. I was maybe I was wired for that, but I wasn't interested in it. Does that make sense? So, but it happens to be a very free way, right? 9 to 5 is unfree in a lot of ways. And now we can see, especially with mandates and so on for medical treatments and whatever, 9 to 5 is a very, very, very unfree state. You don't have location freedom, you don't have time freedom, you don't have financial freedom, you can't make more money by performing better or by changing people's lives more. You can't really grow that much, and then you may be forced to do things that you don't want to do. So You do not want to be in a 9-to-5 anymore or in a normal job. You don't want to be employed. You want to be an entrepreneur. Entrepreneurs can set their own hours, set their own location. They can set their own work tasks. They have to learn how to, it's a higher level of leadership. It's a higher level of leadership. You must learn to have a vision and follow it and to enroll other people into your vision. That's what you need to do. That's leadership. Entrepreneurs must be leaders. If you're still a follower mentality, you're gonna get a job, right? And then you're gonna be unfree. You're gonna be, things could be imposed upon you. So a liberated light worker is an entrepreneur who wants to shine brighter and wants to help more people. And they want to become locationally free, time free, and so on. So that's what I've done, right? I'm not saying I'm perfect, but I've done this to a large extent, and I can help people to get to where I'm at, which is a pretty good place. You know, especially spiritually, I don't show off much, but you know, anyway, don't need to go there. So what is the larger than life result? That's the movement. You're going to create a whole movement towards that result. It's not just a product or service anymore. There's a whole movement that's larger than life. It's a future-based cause. Liberated light workers, fairy tale prosperity. What else could it be? You know, grounding heaven to earth. This is a future-based cause. Something that's so big that people can get so excited about, okay? And then they're gonna want to go there, okay? So this is part of your movement, is that. Another piece of your movement is you. You are the magnetic leader. You are the charismatic character. You are the dynamic kind of guru, the magnetic guru, I call it. In order to create a movement, there needs to be a magnetic leader, a magnetic guru in this case, right? Or a charismatic leader. Think of Steve Jobs, think of Martin Luther King, Gandhi, Buddha, Jesus. They create a big movement towards a future-based cause, and they were the magnet that brought people into that. It needs a face. It needs a face. It can't just be this faceless entity. It has to have a face. You're the face. You're the face of your movement. You're the magnet that pulls people in, and you get them excited to go to that future-based cause. Okay? And then you need a method. So that's that fourth piece I want to talk about. It's the third piece of a movement called the method. Right? The mountain, the moment, the movement, the method. The method is your unique method of transformation. This is advanced, this is subtle. A large part of my program is helping people to do this part. I can't really help you personally with it to find yours until you join my program, because it's a special gift I give to my clients. I have a unique eye for this. Even marketers who are in the world generally get this wrong. 90% of people who try this get this wrong. And so it's actually not that easy. It may take a couple conversations to figure out, okay? But here's what it is your method. When you see your process, the step-by-step process, what is the thread that runs through it? Think of it as, it's like transformational technology. Your method is a unique transformative method. It's a piece of inner technology that you use to help them get results. Okay, and that's what your method is. And so it needs to be a new way, a new opportunity, right? Diet and exercise is not a unique method. And so you won't be able to get, even if you got people excited, even if you were very charismatic and you got people excited for that future-based cause, if your method is something like diet and exercise or something very, very mainstream, there won't be a movement, because people will go and they'll get that somewhere else, right? You need the method to be unique, and so that they have to kind of join your movement in order to get it. They have to join your program in order to get it, right? When I first launched myself as a spiritual coach online, I was helping spiritual people to kind of get into the spiritual groove. That was my method. I think, Susan, if you're still on here, I remember you were on that program. That was my first real launch as a spiritual coach online. Okay? And so I created a method which was getting in the spiritual groove, right? How did this work? Well, I said, hey everyone, like, I know you want to be more spiritual. I know that your practice could be stronger. Like, I know that from my experience too. And here's the thing is, like, when I was living at the temple, I would notice that when I was in that spiritual groove, I was meditating every day, like it was easy and I would go really deep, but then sometimes I would like pop out of the groove. I would like miss my meditation practice for a few days in a row. And then it was like life becomes less amazing, right? And I just feel less connected to my practice. And there's certain synchronicities that kind of stop happening. And so I need to get back into that groove. But getting into that groove was uncomfortable. It was kind of uncomfortable to get back in. It was hard. And so what I did was I created an 11-step process that gets you into that spiritual groove, because once you're in, everything's amazing. Your practice works, life is magical, things just come to you, and your practice you just make progress. And once you're in the groove, it's easy to stay in the groove. So what we do is we have an 11-step process for getting in the spiritual groove and staying there. And so that's what I do. Do you want to come on this journey with me? That was my first business, right? And so do you see how I had a unique method? Getting in the spiritual groove was unique. It was a method. It was also a one thing. We want our method to be one thing. The process is many things, but the method is one thing. It's either just one thread that runs through everything, or it's like summarizing it in just one step. If you were to say, what's the one step to get from A to Z? What is it? What is the one step? What's the one unique method? What's the one transformational vehicle? What's the one key? What's the one shift? Does this question make sense, right? So if you can figure this out and frame it in a way that's true, that matches your own story. Hey, Angela. That matches your story, right? So it has to be true, has to be believable, has to be catchy, has to be unique, has to match your own story, it has to be true for you, for your own life previously, and it has to be the key for your clients to get the result. If it's all those things at once, then it's a good method, and then that becomes part of your marketing, okay? That's how you create a movement. So I'm giving away my secrets right now. This is a subtle thing that I teach my clients in my program. I can help you. I've helped Angela do this. Jennifer, we didn't work together long enough for me to help you to do this, but I will help you if you wish. And anybody else watching, I would love to help you to create your movement, to create your program, offer, method, unique messaging, build your audience, learn how to have enough self-worth to sell at a high level. I can help you with all these things. I've done it. I'm doing it every day. And if you want, you can go click on my website. It's connectingamazingpeople.com, www.connectingamazingpeople.com. The link is in my profile. You can go click it, watch a video, book a call. I'm happy to talk to you. But that's not why I'm on this video. I'm really just here because I want to help you, and I hope that this has been very useful. Just remember the mountain analogy, remember the moment, remember the process to get them there. Remember that even though you're not at the top, you can help them to get to where you are. Take the opportunity. Thank you, Angela. It's probably changed your life, I'm sure, right? I mean, I only work with amazing people, though. You have to be amazing like Angela, and then I'll help you. Thank you, Natalie. I appreciate your kind words. I'd love to help you too. If you want to have a call, or just, on these calls, I can help you just during those 30 minutes, right? Just for free. I'll do that as well. So if you want, anyone, book a call. I'm happy to help, and we can chat and see where you're at, see if you're a good fit. And either way, it's been a pleasure spending this afternoon with you. I am getting ready to film. This is my warm-up session for myself because I'm getting ready to film version 3.0 of a course I've made for my clients. I'm really good at, as I said, at helping people get from like already comfortable with low price sessions all the way to doing high ticket and ultra high ticket. But if someone's still at the idea phase and they're still kind of either doing free sessions or they're just idea phase, either with a clear idea or an unclear idea, I have a whole course now of helping them to get to the high ticket. Okay, and so that's what I'm about to film. It's called Clarity in Clients. It's kind of a new edition. I'm filming version 3.0 right now, and it's been very useful for my clients so far. Now I'm making a better version. So this is my warm-up video for myself. Now I'm gonna go do that, and I can't wait to help all of you in the future, and I hope you have a great day.